coming, calling, we're our temples, praise one. I believe in the word of wonder and a kingdom for the saved.
Larry Pollock, Leo Mayrhofer here. We're with the Underground Performance Gym podcast, and we've got some exciting topics to discuss today. We're going to talk about a Bikini PED cycle that Leo found out about, and it's pretty wild. We're also going to talk about the potential comeback of Big Ramy, and also a new, well, actually, it's an older study that came out talking about longer rest periods between sets being more beneficial for hypertrophy. But somebody posted it as a new study, but we did some research, and actually it's not new. It's been around for a while. So it's still relevant. So we're going to get into that. So let's go ahead and kick it off.
I'll hit it off. You know what would be funny if we had Milos, because Milos would burn it like, no, short rest pump is so important for gains. How dare you say that? Okay. Well, it's kind of wild, like what's going on. Like bikini girls have to be pretty shredded right now. I see it. And in the open class too. And I see why some bikini girls are not like completely natural, let's say, and maybe take like, I don't know, 2.5 milligrams of Anavar for a short time, like, oh, whatever, I wouldn't do it, but okay, maybe a little cleanse, some fat burners, maybe even according to blood work T3 or T4. But dude, this guy, like, so he sends me, I've known him for a while. He sends me, or not really known, but we were at the same gym like 5 years ago. He's like, I'm helping out my girlfriend. And on the first show, she was a local show, which she didn't win. She already was on Anavar, T4, T3, and Clen. And then on her show right now, she's taking Primo, Anavar. Let me see. I have it up here. I'm not going to pull it up because then you see his name. And 4 weeks out, he wants to give her Winstrol. She's also on GH.
So she's taking Anavar, Primo, and Clen.
Anavar, Primo, Winstrol, and GH. And I guess she probably also, and he didn't mention it, is also again on T3 and T4. So, I mean, I like, obviously I probably took more, but I competed on a pro stage with the same drugs. I mean, I really like the same stack before. And I'm like, I'll tell him, like, dude, are you out of your mind? Like, she didn't win the overall at a local show before. She won her class, which, okay, the overall maybe is some really good girl, but I mean, like, for a local show, are you nuts? Like, if the local show, if you can't win that naturally, like, there's no hope for you in bikini, and you can get there naturally, in my opinion. I think there's some girls on the bikini stage that are natural. I think they just should train harder. I don't know. They always want it's like the girls don't seem to be different than men. They want everything instantly. Like some bikini girls, they train a year and then they go on stage and take drugs. Like, and then they think like, oh yeah, that's necessary. And it's like, well, maybe a few more years would be necessary and like real training.
Well, hold on a second. There's something you got to keep in mind too. This is not just like about competing. Like, girls spend way more time and money on their looks than we do.
Yeah.
And we're not talking about competing. I know a girl that she just does an OnlyFans page, and she had first of all her butt enlarged, obviously the boobs, big implants. She already had a small waist, and then she had rib removal to make her waist even smaller.
Mm-hmm.
She looks like a cartoon character, like straight out of something out of a cartoon. And not like a bodybuilder type look, although she once did train like that, but now she just looks like her ass is humongous. Her boobs are like out to here, and her waist is like this big. It doesn't even look real. And I know she does it because she does this OnlyFans and she does this kind of like female wrestling kind of shit. But I think it's mostly for vanity.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of hobby girls that I've had, like guys that came to me like, my girl wants to start working out. Should I get her Anavar? Start working out. And it hasn't even moved the weight yet, but the Anavar's already been bought. Like, what? It's totally wild. Like they seem not to be any better than us. And the wild thing is, they have way more side effects. We get more manly. I mean, of course, we can have like other side effects, but like like fast side effects that come fast and that are visual and forever lasting. If your voice is deepened, you can't get it back. It's gone. And your Anavar's fake, maybe, then it's gone. You think you have a cold, and you keep taking the Anavar, and it wasn't a cold, and the raspy voice is forever there. And I think it's mind-boggling that these girls think they literally can't build any muscle without help because they're not really muscular. There are some female like natural bodybuilders that are really like they're way buffer than any bikini girl. So why wouldn't the bikini girls get half of that naturally? I don't get it.
Well, from my perspective, the criteria in bikini, they don't need to have a lot of muscle. They just need to be super lean and some muscle. They have too much muscle. They actually mark them down. So I
Yeah,
don't
but the
really
Anavar is more muscle building, right?
right.
So it's
So I don't know why
so
they need the androgens for that, unless
yeah,
they just
exactly.
they have a real hard time building muscle. Now I will tell you, I've seen some of these bikini competitors. I've trained at my gym, and well, okay, there's one lady. She's probably gonna watch this, but anyways, she's a member at my gym. She's a bikini competitor. When I first met her, she just joined my gym, and she told me she was getting ready to compete. And I watched her training. She's on the leg extension machine with like 10 pounds on there, just flapping her legs up and down about 100 times. And I told her, "What are you doing?" She's like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "That's not doing anything. You're not going to build any muscle like that. You're not lifting any weight." And she was like, and so, anyways, I trained her. And I remember the first time I had her doing I put her on a cable fly machine, the free motion cable fly with 10 pounds. And she took it hand and was like, "Oh, it's too heavy." I said, "You're not trying." And she's like, "No, it's too heavy." I'm like, "You're not even trying." I said, "I have old ladies here can do this." And then she got all offended. But then she did 20 pounds and then she did 30 pounds. And this is the first time I've ever working with her.
Yeah.
As soon as she like touched the weight, she's like, "Oh no, it's too heavy."
I had that. I had so many clients like that too. It's too heavy. I'm like, let's try. If I tell you I'm going to shoot you if you can't do it, could you do it? And then they try, and it's like, well, see. And then they're like 20 reps. I'm like, was it too heavy? 20 reps? You think? If I had told you like you have to do 25 or I kill you, would you have done 25? And be like, yeah, I could have done 25. Yeah, but it's too heavy.
But actually, I did get her to train heavy, and now she actually built muscle,
Yeah,
and she actually started deadlifting and doing actually real compound movements. And she's still
nice.
competing in bikini, but she actually has a little muscle now.
Yeah, great.
But in the beginning, yeah, she wasn't doing anything, and she had some trainer before I met her. God knows what they had her doing.
Yeah, a lot of trainers, I mean, you know it, they don't have any clue and or they don't give a damn or they just give in too easily and they just don't want to, push them and convince them of what's actually, the right thing to do. And sometimes even women, they have their pre-existing notion of what they think is training.
Mm-hmm.
So they want like some fancy supersets and like back and forth between whatever two muscle groups. And it's like, well, this is not a boot camp. You know, you want to gain muscle, right? You want to make your body look better. Is it about getting the sweat, like, or is it about like changing your body? I think everyone who goes to the gym actually wants to change their body.
Well,
Like
actually,
maybe they want a
the
little
girl
bit of both, but
the girl I'm dating now, when I first met her, she trained her ass off, but she was doing like really fast paced, like lots of walking lunges and things like this, training legs 3 days a week, and just like really high volume and going real fast and sweating a lot. And now she's been training with me for several months, and she put on a ton more muscle just training high intensity. Um, she's crazy strong, especially in the legs. I mean, this
yeah,
girl's she squats as much as I do, and she's probably I don't know 150 pounds, and she's not
yeah,
taking a bunch of PEDs. Just genetically strong, but I mean, just respond fast. So,
yeah.
um, but
And
I,
I can just always point at my wife, like she competed and in the pro ranks, she looked great, and she didn't take any androgens for that. Like there was no nothing. Like, and she didn't get last. I think she should have gotten way higher, but um, you know how these shows sometimes go, and it's hard to judge. But like I mean, I can see the argument that if you have very high estrogen, and some girls might have it more higher than others, and you take an anavar, like your hormonal profile will change, favoring fat burning over retaining it. But you can also just try, maybe some methane and boron, or you try, um, maybe just a super, super tiny amount of an aromatase inhibitor or so, like very, very minute. Therefore, there's actually some liquid ones where you could really, really microdose it, because you can't take a tablet of anastrozole. It's going to kill you, right? So I could see that, but I could only also see that if you really get blood work done before and establish that it's really way too high, because like so many girls also they throw in T3 and T4 just like randomly. And he's like, do you actually need it? Maybe you have a good conversion. Maybe you don't even need it. You're just like throwing it in. And in T3 and T4, they're not like, oh, let's spare muscle. They're like, let's burn. So you're gonna be like super skinny at the end if you have bad luck. So like, don't ever just throw in thyroid hormones if you don't know your numbers. Like, why? Like, I don't see it. Yeah, I mean, yeah,
but they're just look. Females are just like guys. They just if they think something's going to make them better, they're going to do it, and they don't necessarily.
yeah.
They're not educated on it necessarily. Some
But
are.
let's say the steroids would make us more female. Imagine, right? Imagine it's the other way around. Wouldn't you be like crazy cautious if you like? Well, it makes you better, but it's gonna make you more female. I would be like, ooh, I don't know. I rather not.
I don't
So.
know. I know some weirdos would probably do that,
Yeah, but I
but
mean, like that's for the women, right? So they have that risk on top. We don't have that risk to getting more manly. It's like, well, so you know,
where you say it would build more muscle, we would be more feminine.
yeah. If it would be the other way around for the women, it's like if they take steroids, it makes them more into the opposite gender. So now let's say that was the case for males. If we would take estrogenic
I
compounds,
hear.
that would be our steroids. And every time we take something, we risk getting more female. I think a lot of men would be like, I'm not going to take that stuff. I don't want a gender change. I
Again,
don't want to
some
risk it.
some some would though. What's his name?
Yeah.
What's that power lifter guy's name? That
Oh, yeah. Crack.
Matt Rock. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's like was one of the strongest power lifters of all time, and manly man and everything. And then he decided to become a female, and he's still she, whatever you want to say, is huge and massive and strong. But now
Yeah.
is doing that. So
Yeah. It's kind of a weird half transition, right?
Yeah.
But if
But
that
here's
person
the weird
voted,
part about it.
if
He
she's
says
happy,
he still likes girls.
people are weird.
Yeah.
As long as that person's happy, I don't mind. And as long as it wasn't like forced on them when they weren't in a position or at an age where they were able to decide it. Like if she'd been like 14, I'm like, bro, like, but at what age did he like transition? 40? Whatever, do what you want.
Yeah.
You're not gonna hurt anyone. Okay.
I imagine that he probably gets more chicks than we do.
I'm good. I just need that one and I'm good.
I'm not saying I want to be that way. I'm just saying
Yeah.
that probably chicks
Yeah.
get more chicks than we do.
And who knows? Who knows? But it's you already delved into the topic of the training, so I think it's a good point. With your girl, you said you experienced better growth for her when she started training high intensity.
Yeah, and first she didn't like it because she liked to train that fast pace and sweating a lot. It was like a lot of cardio.
Mhm.
But I explained to her, like, you're not going to grow muscle like that, not as much. And when she started training high intensity, like literally training with me the way I train, she got strong fast and put on a lot more muscle fast,
Yeah.
like quick.
My wife is squatting 2 plates now. I'm really proud.
This girl on the Roger squat, we had 7 plates on each, 14 plates total. So that's I think that's like 600 something pounds, and she squatted like 6 reps with that.
I think there's one like that at Beth Francis too. I don't know how that would translate to, but
It's not the same as a
it sounds
bar, but
strong.
I'll tell you, it's
No, of
freaking
course not. Then she would be world champion.
no, but it's still heavy.
Yeah.
It's a lot. I mean, you don't have to balance it the same as a bar, but it's still a lot of weight. We'll put it this way: I'm doing 7 plates, and she's also doing 7 plates, and I'm pretty damn strong on the legs.
Oh, whoa, that's pretty good.
Yeah. I
also
7 plates in each side, so that's 14 plates total.
Yeah.
So I think that's like 600 something pounds. And I think I got 4 reps. And I think she got 6.
I love machines that are very heavy, so I don't have to put weights on all the time.
Yeah. So let's talk. Oh, you want to talk about Ramy real quick?
Yeah, okay, we can talk about him first. He started.
You want to pull up
posting.
the that thing?
I don't think there are posts, but let's. Oh, he has stories though. I'll just pull up his page for a second.
So I guess Nick's, what was it? Nick's Strength and Power.
Yeah, Nick Strength and Power posted that
He was
this
making a
on
comeback.
his page right now. Exactly. That he hinted on it. He was reposting. Here, he's reposting again. Winter is coming. Like, and he hasn't been posting in a long time. Winter is coming. That was always his
Right.
saying.
Mm-hmm.
Winter is coming. And then he won. And this was, I think, at FIBO. Yeah, I saw him from afar low. He didn't look any smaller. That was his booth there. So he was like traveling. See, like everyone's like, Big Ramy never shows up. He was in Germany at FIBO. Maybe there's always a little harder to get to America because of a visa. That's what they said last time when it was about the Pittsburgh posing, right? When he couldn't come.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think he looks downsized or anything. This is 12 weeks ago. Like,
so the last time he competed at the Olympia, his problem wasn't the size. He had some atrophy going on. His like, I think it was his left tricep was completely atrophied, almost like disappeared, and part of his shoulder and back, and there was some nerve damage going on in there, sort of like what Ronnie Coleman had. And I know he was saying he was getting stem cells to try to fix that.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, if he fixed it, yeah, then I could see the comeback. But Leo, did we lose you? I think we just lost him. I think he just, hang on, I'll try to get him back. There you go. You back?
Yeah, I was looking for the YouTube video of his last Olympia, and I put it in the same tab as the StreamYard. So then I'm like, shit, the StreamYard's gone. Okay, I'm back.
So yeah, when he was competing, he was atrophied in his, I think it was his right or left tricep, and like his tricep was almost non-existent, and part of his like rear delt and back. So there was some nerve damage going on there, and he said he was getting stem cells to try to fix it, but I don't know if he actually did fix it. I mean, for him to make a comeback, you'd have to fix that. Yeah. And I don't know how fixable that kind of stuff is. I know they say stem cells can help, but I don't know. Let's see.
You see that?
Is this from which show is this?
The Arnold 23, his last show.
Right. Now, he had looked better at the Arnold, but I think he still had some things going on there. I'm not sure what it was.
I'm just saying here his legs the seems to be a problem too. But I think if he would look, let's say, the same but in better condition, he could do damage. Even if he looks the same with better condition, he can do damage. Because they all come out of shape. I mean, his condition there is not even that bad.
Yeah.
You know? The back, I think, was his problem, that it moved up. Let's see.
Yeah, his back had moved up.
Yeah, here.
Yep.
It's not horrible still, but and this one shot, right? This is still a great shot. All the other shots are pretty good. I think the front double looked amazing. He had never done a vacuum before, and the vacuum front double looked amazing. Also, his stomach is always flat as hell. Let's look at the front double again, because I love that front double. I gotta say, look at this. Oh no, didn't he? Wait, I think in the beginning he did a vacuum, didn't he?
No, that's
oh no,
it.
Here he did it.
Oh, okay.
I think this version I really like. Look, I mean the shape, the taper, but I think his left leg, like there's something blurry here. Maybe that was an injection or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean,
weird looking knots in his legs.
Yeah, I would never inject there. That's kind of a stupid idea. But maybe it's from side injections. I don't know. But yeah, I think like even if he looks the same with the little improvements on conditioning, he could do damage. His back, unfortunately, it moved up. But like I said, like almost everyone has a bad shot. Like Derek's ab and thigh is horrible. I think Big Ramy would beat Derek in the front double all day. All day. Front lat spread also. And then the other shots are kind of more conditioning thing. Obviously, back double, no chance. Back lat spread, maybe even a chance. I don't know, because his glutes are like on this video, his glutes were pretty dialed. Hamstrings also not bad. I don't know how it would look next to each other. He's also way taller. So he has the I don't know, I think he's a little underrated. Like look at his X frame. Who has an X frame like that? It's crazy. He has a super small waist, especially when he pulls a vacuum. I mean, if you look at the silhouette, I don't know who can match that silhouette. So I would love him to come back, and I think he can still do like a top 5 finish for sure, unless he totally like regressed and got way worse, you know. But
just in general, though, those comebacks usually don't go well. I mean, who's actually done it? I mean, Jay did it, but he wasn't really off. He got beat, and then he came back and he won the following year, but he didn't ever stop. How many people have we say that stopped competing for a period of time and then came back and did well after injuries. I can't really think of anybody.
Yeah. Wrench Warren, but he didn't stop for long.
No, Brad tore his quad and he was competing like a few months later and won the
Yeah,
Arnold.
crazy. Like half a year later.
Yeah.
But I just don't know how severe his injuries are. I thought his injury was more like nerve damage. That's what they were thinking. Why his lats moved up. I don't think he ever stopped training. He still looks big because I always see the problem in comebacks is when they lose muscle and they try to regain it, and then it never looks the same. So if he never really lost muscle, like we haven't seen him really. He's like always so we don't know how it looks underneath. Like his arms still look okay, like good when he's training in a t-shirt, but that says nothing.
Yeah.
Like underneath it could all be like effed up, and like has this this old looking muscle from trying to fill out again. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. I hope not, but he's not that old. He's 41. I think and he didn't start early, so you always have to consider that.
It's possible.
Yeah.
It's possible.
If I would have to bet, I would bet he will still look good.
So
And I also think
if he came back looking like he looked when he won the Olympia, how do you think he would do in this lineup?
like if when he won the Olympia, okay, let's find a video on his Olympia wins. I don't even think that he looked better than at the Arnolds when he won the Olympia. Let's see, but I don't recall it that bad that greatly. So 2021.
I think the
Or
first time he
22.
won the Olympia, he looked better than the second time.
Okay, Big Ramy 2020.
I think he actually looked better
I got
the first time around.
Well, his lats were still pretty high there. I just saw it in the little preview. So let's look at it.
The silhouette is crazy. His legs are nuts.
Yeah. Playing the guitar. Damn. Yeah, I mean the quad separation is way better here.
Mm. He's got those weird dents in his legs. I remember we were thinking that was from side injections gone wrong, but I don't know.
It must be hard to keep the legs somewhat separated with that size. Almost like should come in a wheelchair. It doesn't look too shredded on here, but I would even say like I mean that could be a footage difference, but I think the footage we saw before from 23 looked better, conditioning wise.
Yeah.
But it could be that it was more grainy, different light, because the legs look obviously better here. He already has a little dent there, see? So he already had that a little bit.
And he has on both sides.
But look, and when he sucks his stomach in, that's like he never grew a big stomach. But the taller guys always have a flatter stomach. I feel it's easier with a longer torso to keep it flat. And they probably have to they probably have to eat a lot too.
Well,
I don't know. I think it was pretty good in 22, 23 already.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see him here much better. What do you think?
Well, I know he was off that one year he took 5th.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice.
Last Olympia that he competed.
That looks great from this angle, though. Very deep.
So how do you think he does against Hottie and Nick Walker?
I think he can beat Nick Walker.
Yeah?
I think he can beat Nick Walker. I don't know if he will beat Nick Walker, but I think he can. I think he can beat Nick at least in the 2 front shots.
Mm-hmm.
You know? I mean, definitely in the 2 front shots. If he's good conditioned. Maybe even back lat spread if he's good conditioned. Side, oh man, side chest, Nick Walker's really good. Side tricep, he could beat him if Nick like doesn't have his stomach like 100%. Ab and thigh, he will beat him. Most muscular, I don't know, maybe. I think he has good chances to beat Nick Walker. But Nick is always in, if you're a batting man, then it's also different because then you're like, how likely is it that Nick comes in really, really great condition? And how likely is it that Ramy comes in really great condition? And therefore, if I'm betting, I'm almost 50-50. If they're both 100%, I'm like Big Ramy would win. But that Big Ramy comes 100%, the chances are lower than Nick coming 100%. Because
Yeah.
like we always have these two factors. We can combine them at 100%, and then what's the likelihood of them actually getting there? And
Right.
then it's kind of like, okay, now we're talking something different. Yeah, but like just physique wise, I just see the back double as a flaw. Everything else pretty good, you know.
Yeah, conditioning was always a problem for him.
Yeah, that's the reason. Yeah.
The two Olympias that he won, he stayed with Dennis James, and Dennis had to like watch him like a guard dog to make him not cheat on his diet, I think.
Yeah, I think he also just did more cardio. He was and more posing. I think he was a little, um, yeah, not so, um, not working that hard and doing that much. Yeah. What do you think on Big Ramy? Top five? Top three?
It, I, it, it's so hard to say like what he's going to look like.
Yeah.
If he looked like his Olympia condition, which was his best, I would say top three. But the odds of him doing that, I don't know. It's almost like a.
Yeah.
Plus, he's been talking about coming back for how many years this has been? Not that long, but it's been what
Yeah.
3 or 4 years.
I mean, his last show was the Arnold 23 2 years ago. So
So it's
this
not
would
that.
be 2.5 years off stage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think.
But like you're not saying, oh, no chance, he's done, you know? Like some people would say, no way, he should stay home.
Again, if he's fixed those injuries where he had the nerve damage, then yeah, he could come back and do damage. But if he didn't, then no.
I wouldn't see why he is teasing this and wants to come. Like if he comes back and he knows he can't look as good or better, I don't think he would come back. You know what I mean? What's the point? Like, why would he
Yeah,
come
but
back?
we don't
Maybe
know.
he has no one around him that tells him the truth,
But
and
we
he's
also,
not objective. Yeah.
yeah, but Kai Green's been talking about coming back forever and a day, and we know that he's never going to do that. So
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't
Kai
know.
Green
I don't
always
know.
wanted
I
to
don't know
get
how
paid.
much validity there is to this.
Yeah.
When people hint around at stuff,
Yeah. Maybe it's just to get some more eyeballs, more talk. It benefits him.
Yeah, when he
Could be
actually
too.
signs up, then we'll see it. But I'll tell you, what I'm wondering is if Hadi's going to be able to make it to this year's Olympia.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course, they have an
No,
exception for athletes.
no. Trump just doubled down on this travel ban, and Iran. They're going to war with Iran right now.
Oh, I
And
thought they have an athlete exception on this
no,
ban.
well, no, Baruz hasn't been able to get in at all. He's qualified last 2 years in a row, and he hasn't been able to get in. Hadi was able to do it because of Evogen, but now they've made a stricter rule, like no travel from Iran at all. That's according to the Trump.
Oh,
Yeah, and they just announced last night that they're probably going to be going to war with Iran over there because Iran's trying to produce nukes.
like they're saying that for 20 years.
No, but this is like more legit. They've been in serious talks, and Iran's like, no, we're going to do it. Fuck you.
I don't believe a word they're saying when it's like this nuke bullshit again.
No, the U.S. is telling them and Israel to get rid of their uranium, and they're telling him, no, we're not going to. So now it's coming down to, who's going to attack Iran? Is it going to be Israel or the United States or both?
And how do we know that's true? We have
I just
one
watched,
side of the narrative.
No, there was a whole broadcast on it
Just
last
saying.
night. I watched the whole thing.
I don't believe it.
No, we'll see. We'll see. But it is true that Trump did a travel ban on Iran last week. That is fact.
Yeah, that's fact. Yes, I just didn't know that he even now doesn't permit athletes, because there was an exception for athletes.
No, like I said, Belarus hasn't been able to get in. Only Hadi.
Yes, because Beru's sport maybe wasn't seen as good enough, or he as a athlete wasn't seen high enough, and they also didn't try all the things they are trying now. They were like just idiots trying to get a visa, like total amateurs.
Mm-hmm.
They probably didn't even hire an attorney and filled out the shit themselves and all that dumb shit. You need an attorney just like to seem legit, just for that reason. If you don't come with an attorney, they're like, the guy fills it out himself, can't be legit. It's like a stamp of approval.
Right.
It's like with immigration too. If I do my immigration stuff without an attorney, I don't know. Technically, I don't need one, but I think I wouldn't gamble on that. So, yeah.
Someone says Hadi Chupa cannot compete. Overrated bodybuilder ever. Really weird physique with high insertions. Okay, you're entitled to your opinion. I think Hadi's, if he does compete, I think he has a good chance of winning the Olympia. So I don't know what you're talking about. The guy is massive and peeled, and
I think it's interesting that a whole industry of experts think he's one of the best in the world, and one guy on the internet thinks he knows better than the whole freaking industry. They're all morons, and they all have no eyes in their heads. But his opinion is
all the judges that have had him winning don't know what they're talking about.
Everyone knows nothing. You know what? A person like that should make their own YouTube channel and let us have some of their wisdom, because it seems they know so much and so much better. Let's go, Darren Burke or Burke. Come on. It's like, well, this wall is just not white. Oh my God. Hilarious. Jumbo Palumbo? Sure we heard of him.
Yeah. So let's talk about this. So someone posted up that there was a new study that came out that showed that longer rest periods is better. 3-minute rest periods is superior for muscle hypertrophy versus 1-minute rest periods between sets. And they posted that there was a new study. It turns out we did some research on it, and it's not a new study. The study came out in 2016, actually, by Schoenfeld. So it's not a new study, but it is still a valid study. And it's interesting because this is something that I've known since the 80s. Like back in the 80s, we figured that out. We didn't have any studies. We just kind of figured out that if you took longer rest periods, you could lift more weight per set for more reps than if you went fast. And some people did go fast, but I remember when I was a teenager competing in the 80s, some older bodybuilder told me, if you want to grow big, go slow on your training and take long rest periods and lift heavy. And I think that was just intuitive that we learned this. Now, some people still train fast, but now an actual study actually shows that people did gain more muscle when they trained slower, which totally makes sense, because when you train fast, it turns into cardio almost, and then you're limited to how much weight you can lift and how many reps you can do in a set because you're still tired. It takes a certain amount of time for your muscles to replenish the ATP in your muscle after a set so you could do another one.
Yeah, well, it's pretty obvious, right? So if you train at the same volume and you do 3 sets with X weight, and if you do 3-minute rests, you might be able to do 3 times. I'm just saying, probably not, but let's say 3 times 12 reps with that weight because you rest so much. And if you do 3 sets right after each other, it might be like 12, 8, 6 reps. So your load is just reduced by 4, like almost a whole set of 10 reps with that same weight. So you get
Right.
10 reps more with the same weight by weighting. And I mean, if you can have the same load with and the heavy load that's actually doing something with 6 more reps, then that will yield more growth. What I was saying is like, well, most of the people that do short breaks will do a little more volume, and how far can that maybe make up for it? I personally don't think it can make up for it because there's only so much volume that can stimulate growth, and after that, it's just like exhaustion training, and it's not going to, do more. But I'm just thinking that's what people would say is like, well, I also do more, so therefore,
Yeah, but more volume doesn't equal more muscle growth because what your muscle needs an adaptive response. So it needs to be pushed. There has to be a stimulus that's different. If volume was the case, then manual labor people would be buff. Bricklayers would be buff because
no,
they're
I'm just
moving.
saying volume under a certain time and tension on
Mhm.
the muscle, not like endurance training, of course. But I have another argument that also a good argument for saying the pump doesn't is not really necessary for growth because some people will say, well, with your training, Larry, you don't get a pump. Like, first of all, you will get a pump, but it just won't be like as crazy. And sometimes even the pump hinders your performance because you might have too much pump. But if the pump would be an indicator of growth, every endurance athlete, or like every like 10-minute effort, which would also give you pump, like try to go on the Stairmaster and on 10 minutes, whatever, on 8, your legs will be pumped. Will you gain any size from the Stairmaster then? I guess not.
So the pump is not a direct indicator of growth, but I will tell you in my personal experience. First of all, when I train really heavy and high intensity, I get a massive pump.
Yeah.
And it's different than the pump that I would get. Like if I'm like, say, backstage at a bodybuilding contest and I'm using rubber bands, I can get a pump like that, but it's not the same pump. Like the pump I get after like a heavy training, that pump will literally stay with me for hours, even on to the next day. Because my muscles are sucking up all that glycogen and it's just holding all that glycogen and fluid in the muscle versus a pump that you get from like doing a bunch of reps with a rubber band, 5 minutes after you do it, it's gone. It's
Yeah.
not the same
But
thing.
the most important thing you touched on is I think is the progress and the adaptation because when you train with these short breaks, it's very unlikely unless you're like a gifted guy and then everything's going to work somehow um, that you really set a new stimulus and tell your body to adapt and to put on more muscle fibers, more um, growth of the muscle fiber because you're doing something your body knows already and you're exhausting it, but exhaustion doesn't equal uh, you know being a stimulus that's going to induce muscle growth. And I mean, that's the oldest teaching in the book. Progressive overload is just working. And yes, for some people, they don't have to progressively overload because they're just like so gifted. But then some people might not get stronger, but they actually do because they just activate their muscles better and their form gets better, but their weights don't go up. So you can also overload without taking more, like putting more weight on the bar. Like it's already also about how you lift the weight. Because I mean, there's people that like, let's say you you rest in the bottom position with a squat, right? For like a microsecond even, or you bounce out.
Mm.
So like saying just because you didn't up the weight, but you go from bouncing out to sitting in with the same
Right.
weight, it's obviously like a whole different ball game.
Well, you're making the movement harder. You're still making
Yeah,
it harder.
exactly. Yeah, so you have more
Some,
tension, so therefore you have better results too.
some guy said bricklaying construction is beyond tough. It builds strength and endurance. A lot of guys can't handle it. Trust me, I've done it. Yeah, that's great and everything, but how
No
many
one,
bricklayers do you see with 20-inch arms?
yeah, no one was saying that wasn't hard. It's way too hard for someone to be bodybuild because
Yeah,
they'll be like so exhausted
it's
they
not
can't
building any
recover.
muscle.
Yeah, it's people was like, yeah, sure, it's going to build muscle, but you maybe may up your maintenance, your set point, maybe what by 4 pounds, and then you get stuck because it's just like saying, um, bike riding is going to build muscle. Yeah, if you're a rookie and you don't do any sports, you start bike riding, maybe you build like 4 pounds on your quads in the first year, and then you'll build nothing at all forever anymore. This like might up your set point, but it's not effectively the growing muscle. Like otherwise, Ronnie Coleman would just have been a bricklayer and like even like would be paid money for his job of being a bodybuilder.
Mhm.
So
Well,
yeah,
actually, the world champion cyclist in sprinting, he has massive legs, but he also squats heavy freaking weight.
yeah, but and they also that's sprinters, so they train for
Right.
these short amount of times and have heavy tension, and they all squat to get more explosive. So yeah, of course,
Yeah, and he has massive legs, but he's squatting. He's not just riding bikes.
yeah, exactly. And this, if you mean the same guy from Germany, he also had the myostatin defect, they
Mm.
say. So yeah, but they have like the sprinters have massive legs, but they also obviously are like training legs heavy. Like every professional athlete is in the gym. Like even the skinny ones, they go to the gym for maybe like core strength or whatever specifics they need. The gym is like the foundation of every sport. There's no sport that's done professionally where they're like, well, we don't train at the gym at all.
So some guy asked in the comments, "What was the most impressive lift I've ever seen in the gym?" And I can tell you right now, I've trained with or alongside the best bodybuilders in the world and some of the best powerlifters in the world. And the most impressive lift that I saw in the gym when I was training with Scott Mendelson, and I would actually lift him off on the bench press. And we did a bench press session where he benched 1,052 pounds in a shirt. And that wasn't the most impressive lift, although it was impressive to bench 1,052 pounds. And believe me, that shit was heavy. When that bar was on the bench and I had to lift it off to him, I remember I tried to adjust the bar and I couldn't move it. It felt like it was welded to the freaking bench until he put his hands on it and for me to lift it off because he was helping with the lift off. I could not move that thing. That's how heavy it was. But I remember one day after we did the regular bench with a bench shirt on, we would finish off with close grip bench, and everybody would do 2 sets of 5 close grip bench with no equipment other than wrist wraps. And he laid under 600 pounds, and he picked that thing up and he repped it out like it was a warm up set. And I've never seen anybody lift weight like that. I mean, he just like 600 pounds, you just, and no shirt, nothing, just wrist wraps, just pumped it out. And I've not seen any bodybuilder or anybody like lift like that. It was crazy. I think he did like 6, 7 reps, like it was a toy. And
Yeah,
just pure size, he was one of the most massive individuals that I've ever seen. And I think he was 5'11. I'm sorry. Yeah, 5'11. And he weighed 330 pounds. And he was like 3 feet wide and 3 feet thick. He was just huge. I remember I went with him to the Arnold Classic because he was lifting in the bench press in the early 2000s. I think it was like 2005, and Ronnie Coleman was there. And Ronnie was in a tracksuit, and Scott was standing next to him talking to Ronnie. And I realized just pure size, Scott was so much bigger than Ronnie. I mean, just width and thickness. Obviously, he was not, he wasn't shaped like Ronnie. He wasn't conditioned or anything, but just straight size, he was just huge. Like one of the biggest human beings I've ever seen, just in size. And the volume, I mean, all he did for training was bench, close grip bench, rear delts, hammer curls. And that was pretty much it. Some little bit of back work. He didn't even train legs, and his legs were huge.
I show you mine. So I can. It was definitely Doug Fouché, who unfortunately died tomorrow a year ago. The nicest guy. Where did I pull up? Here, you see that? See it?
Yeah. How much is that?
I don't know. It's a shit ton. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is it 6 or 7? 6 plates and something like a half or so. But I've seen him do more. It's almost 7. It's 6 and 35. 2 35s.
So that's like 585 plus 70.
Yeah. Oh, that's not him. But Doug is like, that was crazy strong. That was crazy strong. And it was like the guy like just like 6 plates, I think like 12 reps or so. So that was pretty impressive. You never see that really, you see that on YouTube. I saw it when you see it in real life, you're like, how the hell is he moving that? And he doesn't have the best like lever either. He was
How much
pretty
did he
tall.
weigh?
Probably 270, 80-ish there.
Yeah. I did
Yeah.
at 242, I squatted 820 pounds.
Yeah, that's crazy. But that was the strongest I've seen. And it wasn't like a 1 rep max too. So
Well,
yeah.
at Gold's, you just don't see people lifting that kind of weight very often.
Yeah.
I remember I used to go down there once in a while and squat, and people would just be like freaking out. I'd load it up with like 6, 7 plates, and just be just training, and people would be like tripping out at Gold's because you never see anybody training heavy like that down there.
Yeah.
They used to
Maybe,
back in the 80s, 90s, but not anymore.
yeah, maybe go into your kind of style of lifting and explain people how you go about it with the amounts of sets you do and the rest and the warm-ups. And I'll take a little bathroom break. I'll be back in a second.
Like I used to do more free weights. Now I do more machines just because of injuries. But I'll give you an example. Like last night I did calves and back. So calves consisted of 4 sets of seated calf raises, starting with just like 1 plate with a warm-up set of 20 reps. And then I did 3 plates for 15 reps, and then 4 plates for 10 reps, and then 5 plates. I did a drop set. And then I moved from that to donkey calf raises. I did 2 sets. I did 3 sets. One with 200 pounds for 20 reps and 300 pounds for 15 reps. And then I did a drop set with 400 pounds and did like 10, dropped it to 300, did another 10, and dropped it to 200, did like 10 more. So that was calves. And that was 5 sets total of calves. But I also did tibialis, supersetted with the seated calves. So I did 3 sets of tibialis there. Then we moved on to back, started with lat pull downs on the flex leverage row. I did 1 warm-up set with 2 plates, and then 3 plates for a set of 10, and then 4 plates for a strip set. And that the strip set was like 5, 5, and 5, pulling 1 plate at a time. Then moved to the hammer strength high row. I did 4 plates for a set of 10, then 4 plates and a quarter, and 2 quarters for a set of 8, and then 4 plates and 4 quarters, pulling 2 quarters each time for a strip set where I did 5, 5, and 5.
When you go up in weight, like you said, do
Mhm.
you go to absolute failure just on your heaviest set, or do you go to failure already on the 200 and 300 pounds with like 20 and 15 reps?
No, I go to failure on all of them,
Ah,
except
okay.
no. Like, okay, my first set of lat pull downs, I had 2 plates on there. There's I could do 1,000 reps with that. It's just
Okay.
like stretching the lats and kind of moving around. It's my first set of back, so there's like not enough weight. That's not nothing. It's just kind of like getting the movement. But then I on the next set with 3 plates, I'm doing 8 to 10 reps to failure, and then the strip set is obviously to failure.
You know what I also like about the training? Um, since I train kind of like that, even less volume, just like in failure sets, because I train more frequent than you. So what I really like is the sessions also not being that short, or at least not having that many sets. Is I focus also way more now on like an old man, like on sciatic stretches or like rotator cuff warm-ups and recovery things and rolling out on the what's it called, the trigger point roll or some massage rolls like before the training already, and all these kind of things that kind of are preventative but also are going to actually increase your performance too when your legs are a little less tense. And I think because you're not spending as like you're spending a lot of time in the gym, but when I'm training like that and I'm not lifting for that long of a duration, it just makes it way more enjoyable because you're done when you're done and you're not like extending it and doing another set and another set. And I feel you just don't need that much. You just don't need that much. If you train really intense and you're good at training, there's no way you need that much. Like I trained with a friend who never does that like yesterday, and also just because he knew he just had one set, his intensity was really good, and he was like, "Yeah, man, it wasn't that much, but it's totally enough." Like my legs, they can tell I lifted yesterday, like I like So it's but the thing with my frequency is, and I think you pointed that out, is I have to be careful because the joints, the knees, 3 times a week almost, that can be a little straining. So yeah, you have to listen to your body. If it tells you, yeah, need a break, got to take a break.
Yeah, I don't know. Every time I train, I'm it takes me that full week to recover to where I can do it again. Otherwise, I'd just be beat up. It's just,
Yeah,
I mean, last night after training calves and back, I was like, my whole back felt like I got hit by a truck.
yeah,
So I don't know how I could do that more than once a week and recover from it. Not,
yeah.
I just don't see it. I don't know. I've tried. I've actually tried just doing arms twice a week, and I found out on my second arm workout, I'm always weaker. I'm just not. I can't lift the same weight as I did on the first one. So that tells me right there I didn't recover.
Yeah, exactly. And what I see also is with the less volume, because I'm not as close to overtraining on, let's say, my arms, for example, I get a pump from nothing. And before I needed like getting a pump was harder. But when you're really recovered, you get a pump way easier. It's also a
Mhm.
good indicator. If even if you make a little progress, you know, and you have a hard time getting a pump, if you're not like totally underfed or something, you probably like are slightly doing too much.
Yeah, I can pretty much say I always get a pump on every workout. Never been an issue. I spend 30 minutes on the stretching mat with a massage gun. Literally, I start out with like called bridging, where you're just like raising your hips up, and then I do something called marching, where I'm like alternating legs with the same kind of bridging movement to stretch my back, and I'll do 20 reps on each side of that, holding it for 5 seconds each, and then I immediately go into a stretch position where I'm stretching my lower back and hips, and I start digging in my lower back with the massage gun, and then I stretch and I dig on myself with the massage gun for, depending on what I'm training. When I do legs, it's even more, but I'll do anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes until I'm just completely loose. I dig on anything that's tight all over. I dig on my shoulders. I dig all through my back, my legs, everywhere. I'm just digging on it and stretching it. I find when I'm in a stretch position and then I dig on it with the massage gun, it really like releases the tension in there. And by the time and then I also do like some dead bug crunches and some planks in my warm up. And by the time I do all that, I'm like warmed up and good to go to train. So I don't need I'm like pretty well good to go ahead and start training. For example, legs, I'll warm up with leg extension, leg curls. By the time I'm done with that, when I go to squats, I don't need a whole bunch of warm-up sets for squats. I'll do one really, really light one and one medium one, then I'm ready to go to the heavy set because I'm already warmed up. My legs are full of blood, and everything's ready to go. And I'm only doing those light sets just kind of get into the movement.
For me, that's with squats. I always like to warm up. I'm like,
yeah, but do you squat first or do you squat after you do some other stuff?
Even if I didn't squat first, I warmed up.
No, but I'm saying I start out supersetting, leg extension, leg curls. By the time I'm done with those, I have such a massive pump in my legs that I don't need a whole bunch of warm-up sets for squats to get to it. I'll do like one set with 2 plates and then another set with 6 plates, and then I'm ready to go to my heavy set. And I'm ready to go. Now, I'll tell you this, on that one set with 2 plates, I literally sit in the bottom of the squat position for like 5 seconds and just stretch my hips and then go up, and I'll do that for like 10 reps. So I'm really like going through that full range of motion just to get all my joints and my muscles stretched out to do that movement. And then I do another one with 3 plates, kind of doing the same thing, not quite as long, but I'll go slow and I'll kind of sit at the bottom for a second. And then I'm ready to go to the heavy set. There's nothing more to do. Leo, did you disappear?
I'm back here. I just had like my computer was kind of like freaking out. And I think I have to put a better charger on it, like a fast charger.
Okay.
Oh. Yeah, my computer is black. Do you see anything?
No, I see you fine.
Okay. Now I'm back.
Yeah, I see you fine.
Sounds good. My battery was low, even though a charger was in, and that charger was kind of like total fail. So it seems like you need the fat extra to have it faster charged. Otherwise, it's kind of not really charging. It was on 4%.
After squats, I'll go to leg press. I don't do any warm up set. I go straight to a heavy set of 10 because I'm so warmed up by then. There's what am I going to warm up on the leg press after I've done all these heavy squats?
I mean, for leg press, I can do it, but for squats, I don't know. I just feel more comfortable. Maybe I wouldn't need to, but I feel more comfortable because it's a harder to perform exercise, a lot of stabilization, like knee bending. So I just like to smooth in. But it's not like I do warm-up sets to failure. Like my warm-up sets are like I would do like 5 reps with 2 plates, and I could do like, I don't know. One time I tried to do as many reps as I could and get better and better every week with 2 plates, and I ended up doing 44 reps with 2 plates. That was my best. But you know what? At the end, it was all my ass. It like my ass was so taken over at the end of the reps that my ass was so sore. But I did 44 reps with 2 plates. That was crazy.
I used to do the Tom Platz squat for 10 minutes thing with 225.
Yeah. How does that go? You just squat till you can't more, and then you
No.
break.
I'd take 225 and I'd squat for 10 minutes on the clock. And that was the whole workout. I did that once a week. I had a heavy leg training day, and the other leg training day was just squats with 225, one set for 10 minutes, not counting reps, just by the clock, just squatting for 10 minutes straight.
So so you just leave it on your back and breathe and wait a little to do more reps, or how do you do it?
No, I would just squat for 10 minutes straight.
Well, you can go up and down without any breaks with 2 plates for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
That's insane.
No, I did it for a long time. It
I
takes.
couldn't even do that with one plate.
Yeah, but you know what? It's like you build this muscular endurance. I couldn't do that obviously the first time, but I would do that. I did it for years. But
So first you build up to like 2 minutes, then 3, then 4, then 5, or what?
yeah, and then just squat for 10 minutes straight. It was almost like, I guess it was sort of like doing cardio. We used to say that they thought it expanded your rib cage doing that breathing. They call it breathing squats. But yeah, I would squat for 10 minutes, like no, not really resting much between reps either. Just keep going.
That sounds crazy. I don't know if that's the best method to grow your legs, but it's definitely brutal.
I don't think it's necessarily going to grow your legs, but I'll tell you what it did. It gave me like insane endurance. So then when I go through my heavy squat workouts, like I have crazy endurance on legs. I could just go from set to set to set.
Yeah, I recover pretty fast from it too. I wonder if it's from the years of bike riding, that I'm good at it, that my leg musculature is like ready, like recovering faster, because like I squat and I'm like other people are like totally out of breath and have to take like hundreds of years of break, and I'm like, bro, I'm good again. Like, what are you talking about? And they're still like, ah. Yeah.
One time when I was in CMC, I was like probably 21 years old, and I was doing the Tom Platz squat for 10 minutes thing, and I had squat shoes, like actually like lifting competition squat shoes, with a little strap on them. And then I had my tennis shoes, but I'd squat in my squat shoes. And one day in the middle of, I'm doing the 10-minute squat, and right in the middle of my set, I see a tennis shoe fly in front of me, a tennis shoe fly in front of me. And then another one fly in front of me. And I'm in the middle of this, in the middle of the set, so I'm not really paying attention to the shoes. I'm just thinking like, that's kind of weird, right? So I finally finished that 10-minute squat set, and I put the weight down, and I see my tennis shoes are sitting in front of me. And then I realized my shoelaces are missing. And I turn around, and there's like 10 black guys sitting in the bleachers right behind me. And they stole my shoelaces during my set and threw the shoes in front of me. And I turned around, and they were like looking at me like, yeah, what are you going to do? I knew they took my tennis shoes. I was pissed. I'm like, give me my fucking shoelaces. And they're all just staring at me. They're like, oh, you think you're badass squatting? Well, watch what we're going to do. We steal your shoelaces.
Oh my God. Oh, whatever.
But yeah, I mean, overall, if we've known forever that, before there was any studies out, that if you rest longer between sets, you can train with more weight and higher intensity. You just can't do that if you're just going fast. And I've been training like that, I don't know, forever, long as I can remember. And
Most of
there
the
is,
people that train that way, they never question why they do it. They were just told by someone, and then they do it, and they never really like thinking about, well, wait, if I would like wait longer, I could do more weight with the same more reps with the same weight. Doesn't that
Mhm.
sound better? They don't even think about it. A lot of people don't really question anything.
What does it say? Can you tell me externally rotated front relaxed or 90s relaxed is correct? I think this is more nuanced. If you can look bigger or not, the pose. Are, oh,
Oh, it's about the what did they say? The motorcycle, riding the
oh,
motorcycle. Yeah, so if you totally ride the motorcycle 90 degrees, then your shoulders will look way flatter. So even if nowadays someone does that, he could look way better a little lower. Like maybe 70 degrees would probably you have your shoulders big enough, and then but you can also show the whole width of your lats. But the thing is, um, what's right and what's wrong? I don't know. Front relaxed, obviously it's not relaxed, but I don't know how it developed into that. I don't know. The judges, I don't recall they ever saying, well, let's change this pose. I don't know who started opening it up more and more and more, and somehow it was being rewarded. Do you know how it developed into this pose? Because it wasn't used to be that way.
well, I think people started flaring their legs out instead of like having them straight on because um, number one, the abductors got bigger. I mean, back in those days, people didn't have abductors except for Tom Platz, like now. So because the abductors are bigger and naturally your legs are going to be spread a little bit wider apart and they're going to look bigger because you have those abductors. So that's one thing. As far as having your arms all up in the air, I don't really know that that is any benefit. I don't know. I think some people overdo it. I don't think they necessarily look bigger or better doing it like that. Um,
No, like I said, but I think so that they used to have it at 45 or lower. First it was even lower, then like Dorian Yates or so. If you look at them, Dorian versus Haney, it goes like almost 45 degrees, and now it's like way higher, like more like 70. Some people do it at 90, but that's stupid because that makes them look worse, and the judges don't want 90 degrees for sure. Like I can tell you that, but yeah, I
I
mean
can
that
tell
pose.
you when we do posing practice, I have people obviously they flare their lats, but they're not doing the motorcycle thing.
Yeah.
I don't have anybody doing that motorcycle thing. I don't know. I don't think it unless you've got humongous lats. I don't know. It doesn't. I don't think it's going to look right.
Yeah.
Derek does that, but I think he's trying to
Yeah.
exaggerate his waist to lat ratio. You know, maybe he makes it more of a V taper when he does that, but I'm not sure what he would look like without doing that.
His shoulders look smaller though if he does that
Yes.
because it's too high. So
Yeah.
I don't know if it's really beneficial for him.
I haven't seen him do it in the regular way, so I wouldn't know. I can't tell. It's hard to compare, but people should definitely like what you should be in the position that you look the best, wherever your arms are. But I think over exaggerating it kind of looks silly. I agree with that.
Yeah. But I mean, the old school guys they're calling for way lower. So you know, I don't know. If, like,
Yeah, that is actually my gym, what it looks like. And if you go on my website, you'll see I just replaced all the light bulbs in my gym and it's all lit up. And I have so much equipment, it's crazy. I have everything. I just bought a brand new Nebula leg press a couple weeks ago, $10,000. So now there's nothing that I don't have. I have everything. Every top piece of equipment you could imagine, I've got it. It's just packed full of equipment. So, but anyways, back to the training. Yeah, I think it's just, people rush during training. I understand if like you're in a hurry or something, but I think you'd get more out of it if you do less volume and take a little bit more time.
Yeah, agree. And the science agrees with us too. By the way, guys, science in training, in the training realm, is basically anecdotes confirmed or not confirmed. Because all we do in that science is look at, observe like humans that are doing it. So and then they just put numbers on it, and they log it more, and then they have the outcome on paper. But it's kind of the same as having a lot of experience, just that your experience in your head might not be as much in order and as much evaluated if it's just in your head than like laying down everything in a study.
Well, I
But
thought
and
about something actually recently,
yeah,
people talking about, experience versus science. Okay. I've trained, let's say, 4 days a week, pretty much consistently for 40 years. So how many workouts is that?
I don't know, 4 times 52 times 40. That's 200 times 40. That's 8,000 sessions.
So do you think in 8,000 sessions, I might have figured a few things out?
Yes, 100%. Like, especially you, but what other people will say then, well, you only have figured it out for you because, and studies are always with more people, and so you
Yeah,
get
but
more
I've
the
also trained,
average.
I've trained hundreds of clients
Yeah,
from
that's a
all,
better example, maybe. Yeah,
from everything to competitors to just old ladies to everything.
yeah.
And I've gotten results out of all of them.
Yeah, you definitely did, but also you're reflecting, right? A lot of people, they train for 40 years, they don't reflect on anything, and they do the same over and over.
No,
So,
I
yeah.
always go into the gym. Look, I went in the gym just 2 weeks ago and I saw a kid in there, I mean, like a tall black kid in his, I don't know, maybe early 20s. And he was sitting sideways on the, um, we have a flex leverage diverging chest press, but he was sitting sideways and he was pressing it this way
Hmm.
to hit his chest up here. And I
Hmm.
never really thought about doing that. And I don't know, I at the time I'm like, I didn't know where he got that from, but I asked him, do you like feel that in your upper chest more? And he's like, yeah. And then I felt I said, I'm gonna try that thing. So I got sideways on it. And it's not a bad movement. You can't lift very much weight on it, but it
Yeah,
actually hits your upper chest in a kind of a way. And like, I'll try anything. And then I saw a video of Nathan Diash actually doing that movement. So, I mean, even after 40 something years of training, I'll try a new thing anytime I see it just to try it.
yeah,
So I'm not closed minded where I've trained every kind of way. I trained with Nasser where we did like super fast, high volume, pumping. And I can tell you, I just shrank from doing that shit. I did not, I lost muscle doing that. Now he also had me starving and doing shit tons of cardio. So I'm sure that didn't help either.
look, you can see me here without without a beard. See that?
Yeah. Oh, you're doing that. Oh, you're doing that movement. Yeah, this one's a little different because you got that handle, but it's sort of the same thing. So you're doing it on a hammer strength.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I never
And
tried that till recently.
yeah, and when I did this, dude, all the other trainers, like in the following weeks, I would see them with all their clients doing the same thing. I mean, it's respect to
I'll
me,
tell you
right?
something funny. I have this warm up routine that I do with this like a series of stretching and then dead bug crunches and planks, and then some rotator cuff exercises. And I teach that warm up to all my training clients. And I taught it to training clients, just like regular training clients. I'm not talking about bodybuilders, just like normal people in the gym.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, I trained people at a gym for a period of time and then left. And I go back to that gym like 2 years later, and I see people doing that warm-up routine. And I know they copied it from somebody who copied it from somebody who copied it from me.
Yeah, see. Well, copy the right people, then it's cool, right? Just don't copy just the stupid stuff. But that's always cool. Yeah, it's funny to see like how it, far it goes sometimes. Yeah.
So any other questions you guys want to ask before we wrap this thing up today?
I look like a swole Leo DiCaprio. Hey, it's getting better. I've heard worse things. And now I'm a baby face, and some other times I'm like 50. So it's getting better. Yeah.
So what do we got coming up? We've got the Dubai Pro.
Pro Spain. Yeah, there's just Sasan, and maybe Justin even gets second place. Justin Musial, my buddy.
Yeah.
They're like if you look on the competitor list, there's like no one. Maybe there's some surprise underneath, like amongst them, but no.
I think Beirut is coming out to that Dubai Pro, right?
Yeah, Dubai. He should have done M Pro, but yeah, whatever.
Well, Dubai is paying 100,000, so I think he's going for that one.
Yeah.
And then you've got that what is it, Nexzilla Freak, Rubio, whatever his name is.
Rubio Mascara or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Now that's just a straight genetic anomaly. I mean, he's got like a myostatin gene removed or something like that.
But he has to train more shoulders. I think the shoulders are just too small for the rest of him.
Well, his legs are just so humongous; they almost look weird.
Yeah, the legs and the arms, and then he has narrow clavicles actually, and then his shoulders look just like they're probably huge, but on his body they look undersized. I would train shoulders all day and lats, shoulders and lats.
I mean, he's carrying more muscle than anybody on stage, but that still shows you he's got more muscle than anybody, but he still doesn't win because he's not put together right.
He just looks weird. His head, like his neck, is like wider than his head. It's like a pyramid. It's kind of wild.
Yeah, he looks like one of those myostatin people.
I think he shrugs everything when he trains back. I bet my life. He has such a huge neck. It's insane. This guy probably can barely breathe at night. He needs like every machine he can use.
Someone asked me, am I ready to beat Greg and John in the leg competition? I mean, what are we talking about? Posing or lifting? Because I can definitely lift more than any of them. And I think my legs are probably bigger than both of theirs. Because I can still squat 600 for reps, so whatever. I don't think they're on the same level. Not in the leg department, anyways, for sure.
Do they still like really train a lot? I don't even know.
Greg said he does one set of leg presses for like 100 reps. That's his leg workout. He does. I don't know. He must not have much weight on there, but he does 100 reps. And
yeah, probably has some knee issues. He's like, fuck it, I'm not gonna do more.
Well, I have my left knee is like destroyed, but I just wrap it up with a knee wrap, and then I can squat and leg press no problem. I just wrap it up.
Yeah, when's this Alabama thing? Are you flying out there?
Yeah, next week. I fly out there on the 19th. I have no idea what to expect. I guess we're gonna have a whole seminar. We're gonna go on stage and talk about whatever, and
you just probably have to roll your eyes all day. You can buy like some sunglasses that have rolling eyes. These.
Yeah.
You just put them on when someone says something stupid. You like.
I'm sort of like along for the ride there because I have no idea what's going to go on. I figure out they're paying for it, so I'll go check it out.
It's kind of funny how they're still like some schoolboys, right? Like on RX on After Hours, the stuff they
Mhm.
talk about. It's like they never grew up.
Sometimes I just
And
gotta tune out. I can't even. The conversations are so dumb. I can't listen to it.
I'm like, I always think like, but people are not like me. Maybe some people just want to hear that stuff. I'm just like, aren't people here to get some bodybuilding value or at least news
No,
or
they don't want
something?
to talk about bodybuilding at all.
They talk some, but like even if it's a like they talk about non-existing topics, like some dildo shit or some like you're
Yeah,
like,
I don't know.
who
When they go
cares?
when they go into that stuff, I just tune out because I mean it's
Yeah,
stupid. I don't know.
yeah, it's a little sad, but
Yeah, I can't even listen to it.
yeah, I would try to keep that more bodybuilding because these guys they have a lot to say, but then they talk about all this other stuff like
Well, Greg
you
doesn't
know.
want to talk about bodybuilding at all. He doesn't want to hear it.
I mean, Greg is a little hard. They should mute him. He's screaming over everyone.
Well,
They
but
should mute him, and he would have to put his finger up.
some people like that shit. Like, people want to hear that, I guess.
It's so tough. If you want to say something, you have to scream there. And I'm a little sick of it. I'll still come on maybe, but last time I was like, oh my god, this was a waste.
No, I know.
Yeah,
I just, I don't know. I just tune out when they're talking about stupid shit.
yeah,
If I have something relevant to say or something worth saying, I'll say it. If not, I just shut up.
yeah, exactly.
So I'm not going to talk about Greg's, hemorrhoids or whatever the fuck they're talking about. All right, guys. Again, don't forget to like and subscribe so we can keep bringing you more content and put your
Yeah,
questions in there and comments. And
and
if you
tell
have,
us what you think about Big Ramy if he can make top 5 in his comeback, maybe.
and also if you have any specific topics you want us to discuss, let's do that. And someone said about Lee Haney. We talked about Lee Haney last week, and he's entitled to his opinion, I guess, but I don't necessarily agree with him. All right.
Yeah, me neither.
All right, we're gonna wrap it up
Have a good one, Larry. Yeah, I'll see you next one.
next week.
Great
See you
pleasure.
guys.
Bye bye, guys.
I believe